Alright, good morning, May 21st, 2021. If you watched my video yesterday, you shouldn't be surprised at all with what's happening this morning. What do we got? Crude oil, 2% higher almost. Gold higher, silver flat. Markets higher across the board, dollar lower, and I forgot to check the 10-year. Slightly lower. Stable. Okay, so I mean this is normal, and this is to be expected because I'm not seeing any real news this morning that's driving other stuff, and this is what should be expected. If nothing's going on, then you would expect a continuation of what has been going on. And a lot of people are fearful right now, but we're still in a massive bull market, and this is the trend. The trend is higher for the market. So we do get manufacturing and services PMI at 945 and existing home sales at 10. So we're going to be watching for that, and a couple of Fed presidents, Bostic, Barkin, and Kaplan. Bostic, I'm pretty sure, is usually a dovish one, and Kaplan is usually more hawkish. So we're going to have to see how the market digests some of that. But and that's around midday. So keep your eyes out for that. And over the night, I mean, oil was down almost 1%, but we had a reversal. And really the only thing I could find was an article on Bloomberg saying U.S. futures stocks rise on optimism over economy, markets wrap. So they're trying to sell you the idea that we're in some sort of economic recovery. Well, think about this for 1 second and tell me if it makes any sense, because I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yesterday, we found out that 440,000 people applied for first-time unemployment. So, optimism over economy? No. It's anticipation of never-ending and increasing debt issuance by the Federal Reserve. Hence why we have gold higher this morning, okay? If you had a real strengthening economy, you wouldn't see safe haven assets like gold catching a bid in this environment, okay? So when you see everything higher across the board, other than the dollar, of course, which actually is flat. I shouldn't have said it was lower, but I checked it like 30 minutes ago, it was lower, but now it's flat. But it's falling again. So when you see the dollar falling like it is, and it has been over the last year or so, that should be telling you the story. It's normally, I remember when Trump got elected, right? The dollar started to get stronger, right? And that was, again, over the perception. That was really the perception of a strengthening economy. Now, we didn't have an economy back then. We were in a depression, but whatever. This is what they try to sell to you. And I don't know, people don't have a conception about how things can be controlled in this environment. And it's actually going to play into the chapter in the book today quite a bit, because it has to deal with pretty much how much stimulation we're getting right now. And my opinion is that we get so much stimulation that we don't have the ability to really relax and take a step back and say what's really going on here, because the stimulation keeps you locked in the conscious mind. The stimulation keeps you worried. It keeps you running for the next source of enjoyment or whatever, rather than really taking everything in and using your unconscious mind, which has access to everything that it's been fed over its entire existence, rather than the conscious mind, who's really just, it can think, but it can't really make decisions. And that's part of the book. So let's get into that. This book, remember, it was written in 1960, right? 1960. Because, for me, it could have been written today, and it would have been just as relevant, if not more relevant, because he says things like, the very start of the chapter, let me find the start of the chapter. Alright. Chapter 6. Relax and let your success mechanism work for you. We speak of this as an age of stress. Worry, anxiety, insomnia, stomach ulcers have become accepted as a necessary part of the world we live in. And I mean, I hope you get that, because it's worse than ever. I mean, people joke about how bad their mental health is and how depressed they are, and it makes me sad, really. But I understand how easy it is, because I've experienced that as well, and you can just observe it even if you haven't experienced it. Technology, which has been around for a long time, has only accelerated, and it's been a parabolic curve, because we were never meant to interact the way that we interacted with technology. There's a healthy way to interact with it, and this will be explained in the book. But we have a totally unhealthy way of interacting with it right now, in my opinion. And we'll get more into that. So, again, we're talking about you operating a machine, not being a machine. But, yeah, so back when I was saying, you have to see through the veil, you have to see what's really going on here. The forebrain, the rational brain, which is what most of us are stuck in, is what can formulate problems and sort of conceive of goals, but it can't actually solve them and give you, what's really going on. Okay? The forebrain cannot create. It cannot do the job to be done any more than the operator of an electric brain can do the work. Right? It's the job of the forebrain to pose problems and to identify them, but by its very nature, it was never engineered to solve problems. Okay? I see so many arguments that go on that are people using their forebrain that are just trying to find excuses rather than really relaxing into it and trying to figure out, trying to come from a place of relaxation, i.e. love, rather than hate and worry and anxiety and these negative emotions, which all exist on lower frequencies, right? They're all in the same ballpark. It's just, how do we define them with our rational mind? Victory by surrender. The way to success, as vouched for by innumerable authentic personal narrations, is by surrender, passivity, not activity, relaxation, not intentness. That should be the rule. Give up the feeling of responsibility. I can relate to this on a schoolwork level. When I was finishing my degree this semester, my rational mind was going, or my conscious mind, or my forebrain was going, oh my god, you have all this stuff to do, you got to get it done, how are you going to get it done? But once I really stepped into it and did one thing at a time, which is a big part of this chapter, I got it done so fast that I was like, what the fuck was I bitching about? Really? I mean, it was ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. I mean, these people are talking about some of these concepts. In 1899, they understood the way that our minds are supposed to interact, right? But it's only gotten worse, again, in today's day and age. So, after we have defined the problem with our conscious mind and see the end result that we desire in that conscious mind, there's no reason to use the conscious mind to worry or to think about anything else. Just let the unconscious mind do its work. And how to do that is really a big part of it. And again, I'm asking you to just take a step back and not use your conscious mind right now. Just absorb this information and see if experientially you can make it make any sense to you. Don't jam your creative machinery. Conscious efforts inhibit and jam the automatic creative mechanism. When somebody is freestyle rapping or somebody is playing the piano like a genius, are they thinking about every single note they play? Obviously not. They're in a flow state. They know what they have to do. They've already done the work. They've already made the goal. They've already put all the work in from their conscious mind. They just let the unconscious mind flow through, and then everything's beautiful. And that is, I think, one of the easiest things to formulate in your own mind, understand. I mean, because it's just impossible. You can't think about every single note. You can't think about everything going on. You have to let the unconscious mind process everything. I mean, that's the only way it really works. So, yeah. And we are all creative workers. Think about that one. And then to finish this, 5 rules for freeing your creative machinery. And I'll just read off the 5 rules. There's a bunch of it below them, but Do your worrying before you place your bet, not after the wheel starts turning. I mean, this was great for me. I didn't even think about this, but it makes so much sense. I mean, if you've made the decision, it's made. I mean, what are you doing worrying about it? That's that. And that frees you up to do other things, right? Once you've really freed that. Form the habit of consciously responding to the present moment. Rather than living in the past, living in the future, you want to formulate the goals with your conscious mind, but consciously you want to put yourself in the moment, and that's going to allow you to access all the information that's already within you, right? That's what really frees up your mind rather than trying to consciously think about it. Live in day-tight compartments. This is good advice. I mean, 24-hour cycle. Doesn't mean you can't look a couple years down the road to use your imagination, but in terms of worrying, be a little more relaxed. And then I love this because I love Elvis, and there's a song Rubberneckin', and I'm pretty sure he's referencing it. He doesn't say it, but he says, "Stop, look and listen. Baby, that's what I said. Hey, yes it is now. But that rubberneckin', baby." Oh, sorry, don't mind me. What aren't you conscious of right now, Maybe there's a smell that you're not seeing. Maybe there's some stimuli that you could be absorbing and being conscious of that you're not being conscious of. And why aren't you being conscious of it? And what would it do for you if you were conscious of everything in your environment? Well, to me, it would be if they're presented an opportunity where any of that stimuli would be useful to the unconscious mind and the goals that you've set forth, you'll be able to use that. Try to do only one thing at a time. Don't fight the straw men of the past. And the example given is a guy who peed his pants when he was 10 years old and then could never get up in front of a group again. I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for people with things like PTSD, but at the end of the day, I want to help them. I want to give them strategies to correct that. I don't want to just be like, I'm sick. I guess I'm fucked, right? Yeah, and then sleep on it. I think that's pretty intuitive. Relax into your sleep and let your unconscious. That's really when the unconscious takes over. And then if you lucid dream, relax while you work. And then there's some exercises given. That's pretty much it for this chapter. I think we've covered enough. All right, nothing's really changed. Silver has gone positive though. Hopefully that continues. Gold is up 0.5% now, looking beautiful. Indices still up about 0.3, 0.4 across the board. NASDAQ is the winner, but not by almost any. Actually, Dow is even right now with the NASDAQ. So, looking like a good day. We'll see how this pans out. Dollar is slightly higher. If the dollar goes back above 90 today, maybe that would be, maybe the market would sell off. But I am interested to watch crude. Obviously, it could be this article that was put out, optimism over the economy, so therefore we're going to consume more crude oil because people are driving more. That could be part of it, but we'll see if there's any more news on the Hamas-Israel ceasefire. We'll see if there's any more news on this Iran deal, or the introduction of Iran oil into the market. We'll see about that. That was said to be weighing on it, so a couple things to keep watch on. Again, the Fed speakers at the midday and a couple of economic data points to watch at 9:45. I'll see you at the end of the day. Have a good one. Like and subscribe.